Here's the other camp on the yard, the other half of the yard fowl. This close one to me is legitimately yard bred, yard hatched, unmarked. I don't know. She could be a straight brown red, but she's unmarked. That one in the back comes from the Pennsylvania yard. The one in the middle here is one of the various hatch experiments. I have to look at her markings and her wingband and my notes. That one's a yard hatched, yard bred hen. The one in the back is from a single mating. A-seal's from a single mating. That red quill is also straight bred from a single mating. So is the A-seal. That other A-seal is from a single mating as well. So is that brown red with the toppy and the beard right here. She's half of this red quill with the blue legs. They share the same mother. But the sire was a coal black Sid Taylor cock. But yeah, just sharing some of the yard fowl because it's when I get down to like a skeleton crew. I'm okay with these hens here reproducing on the yard and remaining. And these are the ones that want to eat after, during and after this snowstorm here. Where it's kind of still snowing and cold. I shovel the path and, they don't all want to come out. I pay attention to stuff like that. So the ones that remain on a roost, there's probably like 5 of them or something. They must not be too hungry, Got about 15 hens in this camp for now. There's 9 in the barn, so that to me is pretty low numbers for the yard fowl. It'll fluctuate, but I try to eliminate anything I don't like looking at by this time of year. And it helps having some access to bare ground. Like you see here, they wanted to check this earth out and dust bathe and scratching it, so I already fed them this morning. I decided to feed them again under here because it's where they want to hang out and scratch anyhow. And because of the snow, I can let this A-seal stag out here and mature. He doesn't go into the barn. He don't mess with the barn camp. I'll put him on the deck and just kind of observe him, and he'll make his way back to this little group of hens anyway. No matter where I place him on the property, he just wants to get back here. And he'll be like that for a while because they take a long time to mature, A-seals. I'm kind of just testing the phenotype. I want to see what I think of his build. He's not necessarily fit for breeding, but I'll let the yard fowl do their thing anyway. With him as, if he matures, maybe he'll be the A-seal that finally matures into a cock on the yard, like totally unassisted. We'll see. Let's see what happens as we get closer to spring here. Sometimes you legitimately need a break. Take a break just to warm your hands up a bit. I tell you what though, you gotta have some pretty tight standards for this. Otherwise stuff just fails. Yeah, this has been a real winter. A good one. This is supposed to go on into the night, so let's see how the fowl are doing. Bit of a storm. Wind is whipping. I use corrugated sheets of plastic. This is like a little greenhouse. These hoop houses are great. And something that I don't know if people really pay attention to, but you got to have a roost about the width of your arm. And I have literally, since being here in Maine, I've only had one individual lose some toes, and they was chicks hatched in October. And that ginger ACL bull stag, I put a video up. He's at my friend's house, so he can experiment with him as like a brood cock, because I knew he'd be worth breeding. He had a real nice, awesome personality, even as a little chick, that ginger ACL I'm talking about. But yeah, he lost some toes to frostbite. This is the only individual chicken here that lost any toes from frostbite. So whether it's even a 2x3 or a 2x4 would work, because that's what I was using when I first moved here. Then I slowly started using hemlock, take the bark off, and make sure it's about the width of your arm. And generally speaking, they won't get no frostbite. You gotta stay on top of their combs and wattles if they're straight comb, single comb. But these ACLs, they do fine. I mean, he looks good to me. As long as they can get out of the wind, and he can. That's all corrugated sheets of plastic and steel. They do real good in here. If anything, I got to be worried in the summer when we get a heat wave and take this or cut this off or something, because this can act like a little greenhouse. So our wind up here comes from the northeast, and I just want to show these guys can really get out of here. The wind's never going to come in this way, based on how my property, the way I oriented my builds here, and they can get up in there and they're warm. And I didn't even trim him up, no frostbite or nothing, because he's protected. You know, we got these buildings, and then the way that this roof is, they can get up in there and stay warm. But just paying attention to what the wind does in your place, you can see it's all coming from the north and northeast. And so I tried to bear that in mind. And these are pretty nice as well, except the chicken wire at the top, I could, on the sides and on the top, I got to get some corrugated plastic to protect the cock's tail feathers from getting all roughed up. And otherwise, I wanted to maximize the height so they can get some exercise. But yeah, these pens have worked out. I had to adjust the roof as soon as I got back home, and I can just extend this, you know, and make these bases a little deeper. 4x4 I think is nice and convenient, I guess, but I would like more room. But yeah, these have worked out for me. Just some wintertime ideas from what I do here in Maine. Just a bit of a storm. Not bad.